Nelly's Hot in Her. Man, this song was everywhere. Like I said, Nelly's 2002, biggest rapper out there. Now, for 2020 standards, does it sound a bit dated? Yeah, it sounds very dated, but I think for Nelly, this song put him on another level. It's a song that people still quote to this day. If you play it in the club, people are still gonna dance to it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Jay-Z's On to the Next One. Now, although I did love DOA from this album, On to the Next One had Jay-Z kind of doing the electronic sound. Didn't quite work for me. Like I said, not a huge fan of Blueprint 3. Jay-Z was trying to do something different with the electronic sound and doing some experimental stuff, but not one of my favorite Jay-Z eras to be honest with you. So I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Crack a Bottle. Of course, Dr. Dre coming in with a great production here. Great use of the piano here. Eminem, of course, this was his first single to come in 5 years. He took a 5-year hiatus, dealing with various drug issues and, losing proof to gun violence. So he was going through a lot of shit, and so people were questioning where Eminem was going to come back and rap again. And so this was his comeback single. So it's a party song. Eminem, 50, Dr. Dre all flexing, showing why they were the best. So I'm going to put in the B tier. It's a great song. Swagger Like Us, T.I.'s song off of Paper Trail featuring Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. I mean, really, this was the dream team of 2008. I mean, name 4 bigger rappers, and also sampling MIA's Paper Planes, which was also a big hit that year. It should have been better, to be honest. You have all those names, and you think it's going to be a great posse cut, one of the greatest hip-hop posse cuts of all time. And, didn't really get there. I had high expectations for this song, but it didn't quite get there. I think it's okay. I put it in the C category. Common, featuring Kanye West, Southside, Kanye and Common trading verses. Really at the time, 2 of the biggest rappers in Chicago, and just, paying tribute to the Southside Chicago. Fantastic track, track that people don't really talk about as much, but great song. Put it in the B tier. Next song, Chameleonaires, Riding Dirty. For its time, I think it was perfectly fine. At this time in the mid 2000s, the South was dominating hip hop, but there were a lot of one-hit wonders. Guys like Young Jock and Mims would come in with a hit song, and then we would never hear from them again. Hurricane Chris, and Chameleonaires is one of those guys that came through with a big hit like Dirty, and just we never heard from him again. But he does own a tech company, so I'll say that he's doing fine these days. Average hip hop song, make people a lot. It might make people some, it's gonna make people nostalgic, but it's perfectly fine. Black Eyed Peas, Don't Funk With My Heart. Although I do love this, I love this era of Black Eyed Peas. I actually bought this album, even though they were still doing the My Humps and all that stuff. This was before they got in full electronic, and will.i.am really started to take control of the group. But at this time, it still felt like a very democratic type of group, and they really straddled the hip hop pop line, very tastefully, and came up with some great music. And I think this song is one of those. So it's back when I still was a huge Black Eyed Peas fan. Let's get it started. My favorite Black Eyed Peas song. This song was being played in countless commercials, promos, and it's really the song that kind of put them on the map. The group has such great chemistry here, and the way that they use, like I said, pop, R&B, hip hop, in such a unique blend that was interesting and something that they kind of lost along the way. I would put this in A tier. Shake Your Tail Feather. This is fairly standard mid 2000s hip hop song. The production's great, but the lyrics here just they're kind of whack, to be honest. Nelly saying, "Oh, where'd you get that ass from? Is your mother half reindeer?" Ugh, the hell was that? I put in the C category. Outcasts featuring Killer Mike, The Whole World. This was in between Stankonia and Speaker Box, so it's kind of a loosey. This is really the first time that I really have heard of Killer Mike on a hit song as opposed to when he was on Stankonia. Very different from what they were making previous to that. It's a fairly decent song. I put in the B tier. Next one, Outcasts, Mrs. Jackson. Going to S tier. This was their first number one hit single. To this day, one of my favorite Outcast songs. Phenomenal. Embracing the whole psychedelia. You listen to the instrumental of this song alone, it's just very weird and it's very Outcast, and I love it. The song being about Andre 3000, his relationship with Erykah Badu and her mother, and them implementing like the wedding chapel thing, and it's a very sardonic song, very playful, fun song, but obviously this song, it's so quotable. Forever, forever, ever. Everybody knows that, so Miss Jackson, classic hip hop song. Forget About Dre, featuring Eminem. So that's Dr. Dre, after the Chronic, went through his trials and tribulations, and then partnered with Eminem, and gotten so rejuvenated by this partnership that he decided to make another album, which came to be 2001. Dre puts on a pretty solid verse here, saying that, hey, people wrote me off for a time, and I had some troubles, and I'm back, telling people to put respect on his name. And Eminem coming in with, an amazing verse here, rapping fast and doing it in a way where it was not annoying, it was not cliche. It was Eminem rapping fast and actually being witty, clever, scary, lovable, and dark, and all the things that are great about Eminem. So I think it's a fantastic track from a solid album. Put it in the A tier. The Roots featuring Erykah Badu, You Got Me. Very sad song. But this was the song that kind of broke the Roots into the mainstream. Erykah Badu does a fantastic job on the hook. Kind of embracing the sadness of this song and the Roots, Black Thought. Look, I guess he's never gonna put out a whack verse. So I think it's a great song from their discography. One of my favorite Roots songs. Put in the A category. Beastie Boys, Intergalactic. Love the fact that they use this futuristic electronic production before a lot of people were doing it. Especially in 1998, where most of hip hop sounded like DMX, Jay-Z. Beastie Boys coming in with a hit song like this on the radio, showing that they were incredibly unique for their time. They had no peers and were willing to reinvent themselves. And Intergalactic, I remember listening to it as a kid, and I listen to it now, and it still is a banger. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Puff Daddy's featuring Faith Evans and 112, I'll Be Missing You. Of course, this is a tribute to Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, who passed away earlier that year that this song was released. The problem I have with this song is, look, I know Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, tried to do a tribute to his friend. It's sentimental, it's nice, it's sappy, it's whatever, but it's literally Every Breath You Take. It's copy and paste. Not in terms of lyrics and content, but if you look at the instrumental, it's literally copy paste from The Police, Every Breath You Take. And this is what I thought P. Diddy would have done something more original than to just copy another hit song. I feel like he was more creative than that, but of course, this is the kind of criticism that many people have towards P. Diddy, especially around this time, where he would just literally copy paste songs from the 80s and just call it sampling. But that's not sampling. If I give you Around the Cake and you take 90% of the cake, is it a sample? No, I mean, you literally just ate the whole fucking cake. So I put it in the C category. I know it means a lot to a lot of people, and I get that, but I just wish that it was more original. I mean, especially, Biggie Smalls, an iconic hip hop figure. There's so much you could have done with this idea, and it just never quite worked for me. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Crossroads, one of the biggest songs in the 90s, period. And, obviously them paying tribute to Eazy-E. Now, this is a tribute song that I can get behind because, it's original production, and you really feel like it's heartfelt, because Eazy-E was the ones that, broke them into the record label and got them their start. And of course, Eazy-E passed away from AIDS, and when you hear this song, it's like, damn, it really feels like you did lose a friend, and it does feel sincere. And I think this did what I've Been Missing You couldn't do. And the music video scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, especially with the Angel of Death, and that was a creepy music video growing up. But the song itself still holds up. I'll put in the A tier. Method Man's featuring Mary J. Blige, You're All I Need. So obviously, the original song, You're All I Need, which was Marvin Gaye's and Tammy Terrell's back in the 70s, but then Method Man did it for his solo album. And if you listen to the solo version that Method Man did on his album The Cow, it's very different. It's very it's more boom bap. It's more gritty. Then they kind of redid the song and put Mary J. Blige on it, and it gave more of a pop sheen on top of it. But still a great song. This song blows the original Method Man song out of the water. And Method Man really, this brought him to a whole new audience because Method Man was really the first breakout star to come out of Wu-Tang Clan, to do a ballad like this with Mary J. Blige that got him in front of a lot of eyes, and it's won him a Grammy, and still his most popular song. Great collaboration. Put in the A tier. Salt and Peppers, None of Your Business. Now, I feel that this is one of the more underrated songs in their discography. Obviously, they had songs like What a Man and Shoop. Let's Talk About Sex. Of course, Push It, which basically put them on the map. But this song is really good. Salt and Pepper doesn't really get, I feel like they get forgotten about when it comes to hip hop innovators, but especially for female hip hop, Salt and Pepper was the first ones to do it. And to come through in the mid '90s, they were still pushing that female empowerment message, that sex positive message, and basically the content of the song is like, hey, if I sleep with somebody, if I have a lot of sex, it's none of your fucking business, to put it bluntly. And I think I'm surprised that this song doesn't get talked about a lot more, especially in today's era. But it's a really great track. I love the production here. Salt and Pepper, innovators. Put in the A tier. Next song, Digable Planets, Rebirth of Slick, Cool Like That, early 90s jazz rap classic, back when hip hop was embracing, jazz and Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul were doing jazz rap. And this song was the biggest song to come out from that genre, because although Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, they weren't, being played on the radio like that, especially commercial radio. But this was the song that kind of broke that genre into the mainstream, and it's a phenomenal track. Digable Planets, doesn't get talked about. This is probably their only hit, but it's one of the best one-hit wonders to come from the hip-hop genre, and it's a classic, iconic song from jazz rap. So I'm going to put this in the S tier. Arrested Development's Tennessee. Really, Arrested Development, as I mentioned in my Atlanta rap video, which is in the archives, check that out. But Arrested Development was really the first group, at least hip-hop group for that matters, to come out of Atlanta, to come out of the Dirty South, to put that region on the map. But Tennessee was the song that put, it's ironic that Tennessee put the city of Atlanta on the map, but that's exactly what happened, of course. I think it's a fine song. I put it in the B tier. Next song, Will Smith featuring Jazzy Jeff, Summertime. Now, this is a Will Smith song that I can get behind. I love the smooth, kind of like laid back production here. Will Smith, of course, paying tribute to just relax in the summertime. Just an all-time classic barbecue song. All-time classic summer song. Just Will Smith playing to his strengths here. Still my favorite Will Smith song of all time. So I'm going to put it in the A tier. See? I don't hate Will Smith after all. He does make songs that I like. Last but not least, we have finally gotten to the end of this Yellow Brick Road here. Back on the Block. Quincy Jones featuring Kumo D, Tevin Campbell, Ice-T, Big Daddy Kane. Now, Quincy Jones, famous record producer, produced Michael Jackson's. Quincy Jones has basically done everything. From jazz to R&B to soul. But now, early 90s were coming. Hip-hop was getting into the mainstream. And he became one of the first, especially from the old generation of jazz, to embrace hip-hop. And he even says in the end of the song that he thinks hip-hop is not going away. It's going to be the new thing that people are going to be talking about. And, of course, 30 years later, hip-hop is still the most popular genre in the world. So, very prophetic words from Quincy here. And, although jazz purists will look at this and say, oh, you're just riding on the bandwagon, the actual song here in the album is very tastefully done. And, it really did start, I just said Digable Planets and the whole jazz rap thing. This album and its success really did start the whole jazz rap phenomenon that happened in the early 90s. And, of course, Ice-T coming in, this is way before SVU, actor Ice-T, but he was a rapper. And coming in with dark lyrics, talking about living the streets and living the gangster lifestyle. But then Big Daddy Kane laying a verse, Big Daddy Kane, one of the greats. Kumo D, does sound a little dated with the like that type of 80s, hey dude, hey, why do you not there? Like that type of rapping, which is very old school. But I think the song comes together nicely. Put it in the B tier. Finally, our tier list is completed. Best rap performance. Tell me what you think in the comments section. What do you think about this tier list? What are some of your favorite and least favorite songs on this? Did I go too hard on Will Smith? Did I not go too hard enough? let me know in the comment section. YouTube recommends these other tier list videos that I've done recently. And the next one I'm going to be doing is Best Alternative Music Album. So just look out for that. And I'm going to also be dropping a video Halloween day. So look out for that. I'm going to be doing a music video breakdown. But I'm not going to tell you which one it's going to be. I'm going to let you find out for yourself. Anyways, till next time. Peace.